Coming up on Locked On Dodgers, not much news in Dodgerland, but we have an awesome interview with Dodgers pitching prospect Peter Heubeck. So that's what we got going today. So let's get Locked On Dodgers.
You are Locked On Dodgers, your daily Los Angeles Dodgers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, Dodger fans. I am Jeff Snider of Baseball Essential, and this is Locked On Dodgers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm solo here at the beginning today, but I won't be solo the whole time because I'm going to be joined by Dodgers pitching prospect Peter Heubeck. And so I am just running a quick intro without Vince. Vince and I will probably be back together tomorrow. We'll see what the future brings. But for today, I'm going to be talking to Peter Heubeck, Dodgers pitching prospect and 2021 third-round draft pick. I want to thank you for making Locked On Dodgers your first listen every day. Remember, this show is free and available on all podcast platforms and on YouTube simply by searching for Locked On Dodgers. This is the daily podcast covering the Los Angeles Dodgers, bringing you the smart fans' perspective on our boys in blue. And like I said, there's not much news in Dodgerland. As you're listening to this on Wednesday morning, we are less than a day away from the lockout starting, and barring a miracle, the lockout is going to start. And so teams have until midnight tonight to sign free agents before the lockout begins, and that puts a freeze on free agency. And so that's why we've seen such a flurry the last couple of days and why we saw so much on Monday, because in order to, like, as I'm recording this on Tuesday night, Max Scherzer and Corey Seager's deals still aren't officially official because there's always, medicals and getting together to actually sign the paperwork and everything. And with free agency, all that stuff needs to be done before the lockout starts. And so that's why we saw the big flurry on Monday of action, so that they have a couple days to get that paperwork done. What that means is any deals that are going to happen before the lockout basically are going to need to be agreed on by this morning at the latest. And, then it just becomes a logistical thing of getting medicals done, getting actual contracts signed before the midnight deadline when the lockout starts. And so, it's kind of interesting to see. There's been some rumbling, some increased chatter about the possibility of Freddie Freeman to the Dodgers. And as you know, as I've been saying for months, I am totally on that train. I think Freddie Freeman is a guy you make room for, especially with Max Muncy's ability to play second base or third base. They can make room for Freddie Freeman, and that's a bat you always want in your lineup. And so, I've just been scrolling Twitter all evening, hoping that they'll get something done with Freeman before the deadline. The rumor is that the Braves didn't want to give him 6 years. And, Freeman's 32 years old, but, I'd give him 6 years. And, he's a guy who, it's not like there's a lot of, I'm not going to say he's not a good athlete. That's not what I mean. His game doesn't depend on his athleticism. He is an excellent hitter, and he's a very good defensive first baseman. And chances are both of those things are going to be just fine for the next several years. And he's a guy who brings you so much value at the beginning of a contract because he's really still as hitting as well as he ever has. And, and so 6 years, I'm all over that. Dodgers give him 6 years, and he's a Southern California native. He lives in Southern California in the off season. So yeah, he's been with the Braves since he was drafted in 2007, I think it was. But, Southern California still is home. He grew up an Angels fan, but, a lot of people make bad decisions when they're younger, and then they fix those later. And so Freddie would look great in Dodger blue. I am all on board that train. And so as I'm recording this at 10:15 p.m. Utah time on Tuesday night, nothing has happened other than, just chatter and rumors. But, who knows what's going to happen. And we might see some action on a few different fronts. Clayton Kershaw, we still don't know what's going to happen there, and that might get resolved before the lockout, or it might not. Who knows? A lot of that is because we don't know what the delay is. If he's, we don't know what's causing the delay, so we don't know if it's something that's likely to get resolved before the lockout or not. But one way or another, the lockout, unfortunately, is coming. Like I said, barring a miracle, it doesn't seem like the two sides are close enough to get something resolved. And from a realistic perspective, it doesn't actually hurt that much to have a lockout right now, assuming they continue negotiating and get it resolved fairly quickly. We forget lockouts that happened in the offseason. There was one in 1990 that nobody thinks about. We remember the strike of 94 into 95. We don't remember the lockout of the offseason in 1990 because ultimately it got resolved and it didn't really affect that much. So hopefully that's what we'll have here, a lockout that lasts a week or two maybe, and then they get things figured out and come up with an agreement that works for everybody. And, then we can get back to the business of free agency and trades and all that. So for right now, not that much Dodger news other than chatter about Freddie Freeman, and a lot of that chatter coming from me because I want it. So I'm going to come back in just a minute, and I'm going to share with you on Monday afternoon, I recorded this interview with Peter Heubeck. He was the Dodgers' third-round draft pick out of high school in Baltimore this year. Great kid, really nice, really enjoyed talking to him. It's about 20 minutes, so that's going to be the rest of this episode with just a break for some ads in between. So that's the plan for the rest of this episode. Thank you again for making Locked On Dodgers your first listen every day. Remember, you can get Locked On Dodgers wherever you get podcasts or on YouTube. It's free and available everywhere. So thanks for making us your first listen. And I will be back in a minute with Peter Heubeck. This holiday season, grab the protein bar that tastes like a candy bar, or even better than a candy bar. Built Bar, filled with so much holiday goodness, rich with decadent flavor, covered in chocolate, but amazingly low in calories, sugar, net carbs, and fat, and high in protein. You get the best of both worlds, delicious and healthy. They have so many flavors you'll have a hard time choosing. We have raspberry or mint brownie, cherry or double chocolate, cookies and cream or peanut butter brownie. They're all delicious. Built Bar gives you that extra fuel you need to bust down those mall doors and battle all the holiday shoppers. Or if you're just standing in endless shopping lines, Built Bar can give you that extra something to keep you going. So throw it in your jacket or purse. You never know when you're going to need it. Because in the season of peace and love, don't bring up your favorite Built Bar flavor at family parties. People are so passionate about their favorite flavor, they will fight for it and things could get out of hand. You friends with Santa? Well, tell Santa to throw a few Built Bars in those stockings. With so many flavors, they'd make anyone's Christmas morning a happy one. Want to cozy up with something warm? Here's a holiday secret. Dip your Built Bar into a piping hot cup of cocoa, let it melt a little, and give your beverage a little bit of that Built Bar flavor. Plus, you'll have a nice melty Built Bar to go with it. Be sure to have a couple napkins on hand. Like some of those marshmallowy treats around the holidays, you need to get your hands on Built Bar Puffs. They're light, fluffy, and marshmallowy through and through. Different flavors, all covered in chocolate. They taste so good you won't believe that they're filled with protein. Go to Built.com, use promo code LOCK15, and get 15% off your order. And now let's get to my interview with Peter Heubeck. Hey, Dodger fans, I am here with Dodgers pitching prospect Peter Heubeck. Thank you for taking the time to talk with me.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. So a lot to talk about. And I feel like all of my conversation topics kind of lead into each other. So I don't even know exactly where to start. But I guess I'm going to start with my oldest son's middle name is Ripken. And that, based on your growing up history, that might be significant to you, huh?
It is. Yes.
You went to the same school as Cal Ripken's kids, I think, and played for Larry Sheets, Cal Ripken's old teammate. And all I am is just a super Cal Ripken fan. So what was that like growing up around kind of some major league royalty?
Yeah, it was awesome. Obviously being from Baltimore, Cal Ripken's a huge deal. He's a huge deal everywhere, but always looked up to Cal Ripken. Everybody in Baltimore does, but being Cal Ripken actually coached my high school a little bit before I got to freshman year. But so him and Larry Sheets is my high school coach, and based in high school, yeah, he's my high school coach. And it was great being around those guys a little bit, Coach Sheets a lot, and just like the wisdom they can pass on to you. It's a great thing.
Yeah, guys who've been in the big leagues, and even Larry Sheets didn't have the resume that Cal Ripken had, but longtime big leaguer, and obviously knows how to coach. Got his own son to the big leagues, right. And but you were the fourth player ever drafted out of your high school, but the first one to sign at high school, and by far the highest draft pick coming out of Gilman. Was that like how much are you aware of that at the time when you're getting drafted? That wow, nobody from my high school's ever done this before.
Yeah, it's something that definitely it kind of set in, but it's crazy. But I mean, really just gotta like step back, and especially when you're in high school, just you're still like a normal student, like gotta get all your work done, just do everything else a high school student does, and just focus on helping the team win, especially in high school.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about your profile as a pitcher. You're kind of, your dad. I read an article after you were drafted. Your dad said that at that point, you had never had a pitching lesson in your life. It was just kind of, you were just kind of naturally born to throw. And then you get drafted by the Dodgers, who have famously one of the best player development systems in baseball, maybe the best. And so, what was that like for you going from I taught myself how to pitch, and now going to an organization that really, really knows how to teach pitching?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a great transition. I haven't back in high school, started pitching like end of freshman year a little bit, which I'll give credit to Coach Sheets. He pushed me to start pitching, so that was very, very thankful for that. But Dodgers, I mean, I think without a doubt the best development pitching wise in baseball. So being able to go in there right out of high school, it's you for sure learn a lot, and it's been great. Rob Hill with the Dodgers, he's awesome. Got to work with him a lot, and just I think it helps not really knowing all that much about some stuff, but they get you caught up, and they you can learn everything, get to learn something new every day.
So once you signed with the Dodgers, did you head straight to Arizona and just dive right into what they had for you?
Yes, yeah. So after I got drafted, went straight to Arizona, played in the rookie league a little bit, and I mean, it was an awesome experience. All the coaches there, the people you're around, it's didn't get much better than that.
Yeah, you mentioned playing in the rookie league a little bit. According to Baseball Reference, 4 innings pitched and 9 strikeouts, and one base runner or 3 base runners, a hit and 2 walks. Kind of, they say that when you get to the pros, it's going to get harder, but it doesn't seem like. Or do you feel like they're setting you up to somebody's pranking you or something? Like, I thought they were supposed to be hard.
Yeah, I was super happy with the results. That the short amount of time that I did pitch this year is it was it went well, and I mean, always the guys you're facing are professional hitters. Everyone there are professional, but I think you just gotta remember. I mean, just gotta try to execute as many pitches as you can, and just do whatever you can to get the guy out.
Yeah. So you're listed at 6'3", 170. I've been 6'3", and I've been 170, but never in even the same decade. And for a pitcher, I think 6'3", 170 is the word they use for that is projectable. They kind of scouts see that, and they just kind of visions of you filling out and becoming thicker kind of fill their head, and like, oh, if he's throwing low to mid 90s right now, how hard is he going to be throwing when he puts on some weight and stuff? Is that something that is a conscious effort by the organization? Okay, let's get some muscle packed on you. Let's get you built up. Or is it something that they kind of expect that to happen naturally because you're 19 years old, so you still have some filling out to do.
Yeah, that's something for sure that was a big part of, especially when I got to Arizona, trying to just put on the right weight, not do it the bad way, just like eat the food that they give us there. It's great, and just working with the strength coaches and everything about that. I mean, I'm feeling naturally a little bit, but I've got up to 180, so I put 10 pounds on since I got drafted, which has been good. And just it's a conscious thing every day to try to put weight on, try to get as much calories in. But it's something that I've been for sure working on, and it will continue to keep working on for sure.
Yeah, well, just a tip from me to you: there's a certain point where you want to stop. More weight, eventually you'll reach a point where you don't want to put on more weight, and then 150 pounds later, maybe you'll start to do something about it. If your life is like mine, who knows? When you got drafted, you're drafted in the 3rd round. around the 100th pick, somewhere in that ballpark, I think. What was the decision process like for you of whether to sign, or you were committed to Wake Forest, right?
Yes, I was
So
committed
what
to
was
Wake
that
Forest.
decision process for you? Was it a hard decision to sign with the Dodgers? Did you consider going to college, or when you got drafted that high, was it a no-brainer?
Um, it for the most part, it was a no-brainer. I mean, especially once you see the Dodgers, like such a great organization, that obviously makes it so much easier to go fully toward that direction. So it wasn't too hard of a decision, but it's definitely a lot of thoughts, like a lot of conversations, a lot of talks, like leading up to the draft for sure.
Did you play other sports growing up?
I did. I ran track in high school, and I played soccer and basketball growing up.
Nice. Was baseball your main sport, or just the one that you ended up being the best at?
Um, I actually missed swimming in there, but I used to swim a lot. Swimming was my best sport when I was younger. I mean, I always loved baseball. I always thought I was pretty good at it, but swimming, that's what my best sport was. But I just loved baseball. Those long days in the pool, they're no fun. So I love
And,
baseball.
and once you realize your chances of being the best swimmer ever to come out of Baltimore are gone, there's no chance of being that, right? So, you
Exactly.
might as well shoot for baseball at that point, huh? Michael Phelps ruined it for
Exactly.
everybody.
Michael Phelps did. He did grow up in my neighborhood, a couple blocks down, so it's big swimming connection there.
Yeah. Who is I assume you grew up an Orioles fan?
Yes, I did.
Who was your favorite player or players?
Um, I loved Adam Jones. Adam Jones is one of my favorite players for sure. And I was a big Manny Machado fan, and then he went to the Dodgers and followed him there. Then I mean, not so much anymore, but you know.
You have all the right answers. Yeah, Machado, he's fun to watch. He's easy to hate if you're playing against him, but
Right.
part of that is because of how fun to watch he is and how good he is.
Oh,
So
no doubt.
yeah. All right, we're going to take a quick break from my talk with Peter Hubeck. Remind you again, thank you for making Locked On Dodgers your first listen every day. And I want to talk to you about BetOnline. BetOnline has you covered all season with more props, odds, and lines than ever before as football season continues to the march to the playoffs. BetOnline remains your number one spot for all the sports action this season. Head to our new updated desktop or mobile website to sign up today and receive a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just use promo code LOCKEDON to receive your bonus. From basketball, football, NHL, boxing, and UFC, right to your favorite Vegas casino games, don't wait to take advantage of all the amazing offers available for the 2021 season. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet all your favorite sports. BetOnline, where the game starts. And now let's finish up my conversation with Peter Heubeck. Yeah,
Great.
you mentioned you didn't start pitching until your freshman year in high school. What'd you play before that, besides that?
So I was a catcher, and obviously my skinny frame didn't really wasn't really I wasn't sure if I had a big future in catching. I could always throw guys out decently, but after that we had freshman year we had a catcher right in front of me. So our coach was like, hey, if you want to get opportunity to get in the game, you can try to pitch. So that's how it all started.
Yeah, coaches see that arm and they're like, I think I could do something with that. So,
Right.
and then, your junior year, COVID hit and basically it's a lost season. The season gets canceled. At that point, were you thinking, like, what? I don't know where you were in your process as far as where I'm going to go to college. Do I have a chance of getting drafted and all that? Was that stuff already on your radar? And were you worried, or did plans? Were you worried about plans getting messed up because of COVID?
A little bit, yes. So I was committed to Wake Forest at that point, but code is pretty tough, especially in the Northeast. There wasn't any gyms to work out at, or like a lot of all the fields were closed. We just sneak on the fields. But the hardest part about code is getting in a routine that I could get my arm to where I wanted it to be, and I ended up being all right with that after a while. But it was pretty tough at first.
So then the Dodgers drafted you, and in that draft they took a ton of pitchers, and
Right.
you were the second or third out of whatever it was 18 pitchers they took in that draft or whatever, and
Right.
you know how has that been? Have you met a lot of the other guys they drafted? They obviously not all of them signed, but most of them signed, and did they all head to Arizona? And has it just been a big pitching camp for you guys coming in?
It has been. I've met everyone who signed. I lived with in Arizona. We all got an Airbnb, which me and seven other guys who got drafted all lived in. So a lot of pitching talk in that house for sure. But they're great guys, and we all really enjoy each other.
Yeah, I imagine that's like, do you guys, when you're sitting around, like how much of it is baseball talk and how much of it is we're at home? I'd rather just be playing video games, or how much are you guys talking shop at home?
I mean, we were there. We were there when the playoffs were going on, so we were all glued to the TV every night talking about a lot of pitching. And it was awesome because being with seven other guys who are professional pitchers. I mean, they pick up on some stuff that you wouldn't think of. So we can bounce ideas off each other. But there's also for sure times where we forget about baseball for a couple hours and just enjoy ourselves, go in the pool, just hang out.
Yeah, that's awesome. Is it pretty
Mhm.
granular talk when you're talking like, oh, what you predicting what pitch the guy's going to throw next and why? Are you talking about pitch selection and how to work a hitter and all that stuff?
Oh yeah, for sure. We before it was funny before every pitch of the playoffs, it's almost like someone saying, "Oh, he's got to throw this right here. He's for sure going to throw this right here." But that talk's great, especially just being with guys you enjoy being around and who know the game and who really enjoy it. It's awesome.
Yeah, that is awesome. So
Yeah.
at this point, you're 19 years old. You've pitched a total of 4 innings in pro ball. Have the Dodgers laid out for you kind of what the development plan is for you, what 2022 is going to look like for you and beyond?
A little bit, yeah. So we we had some conversations about their plans and their goals for me. And my big our as a Dodgers organization and like as my first year coming into it, they want me to be able to get through a whole season, like pitch the whole season. Want to pitch count at first, and hopefully I'll make it through the whole season without missing a start, and obviously pitch well, but make it through healthy. So that's their big thing for me this next year.
Awesome. So they're not really even too concerned about what levels you're at. It's just stay healthy, get your innings in, and kind of spend a year developing, basically.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, that's
Mhm.
awesome.
Right.
Um, what is there anything in particular that has stuck out to you since you mentioned that the Dodgers development system kind of made it a no-brainer to for you to sign with them? Is there anything that has stood out to you, maybe that's even exceeded your expectations as far as the player dev system that the Dodgers have built up?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just like I mean, going at the draft, seeing guys like Dustin May, who came out of high school, say around the same spot drafted, and just like to see where he's at and see how much he was able to become a better pitcher. And especially when I got into the organization, they didn't try to overload me with information because they know I'm not like a lot of things are new for everybody, but just they're accessible anytime you want it. So the more you reach out to them, the more information and the better you're going to get. So they've been great.
And I think the last thing I wanted to ask you about, after you were drafted, before you had signed, the Dodgers, obviously they're talking with you. They, trying to talk you into signing or, going over stuff with you. And then they set up a FaceTime for you and didn't tell you what it was going to be. And you
Right.
answer the FaceTime call and tell our listeners who was on the FaceTime talk to you.
Yeah. So I answered FaceTime. It was I was a random number, and Clayton Kershaw and Walker Buehler were both on the FaceTime in the clubhouse, and we talked for a couple minutes, and it was just asking them questions, them asking me questions, super normal conversation. But it was amazing watching those guys, looking up to those guys, and it was a pretty awesome FaceTime.
Yeah, that's about as strong a sales pitch as they can make for you, huh? Because both of those
No
guys were
doubt.
drafted by the Dodgers, developed by the Dodgers, and gone through the same development system that they were talking about that you're going through now.
No question. Yeah, it's pretty amazing seeing people at their level, and especially the Clayton doing it for so long, and Walker he's about to be. I mean, if not, he's one of the best pitchers in baseball right now, and they came through the Dodgers organization, the same place I was. So it's super cool to see.
Yeah. You're looking forward to your first spring training to be able to get to be around these guys and kind of learn more from, even just getting little glimpses of the big leaguers at times and more of the minor leaguers, hanging out with all those guys.
Oh, no doubt. I'm super excited. Can't wait to go down to Arizona for that. And I'm really looking forward to it. It'll be super fun.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, we're looking forward to seeing you at Dodger Stadium. Getting drafted out of high school, there's always, you kind of come into it with an expectation that there's going to be a little bit more of a gap between the draft and when you make your major league debut. But
Right.
we're looking forward to that, in a couple of years, whenever that is. And obviously, if the goal for 2022 is get through a full season healthy, and then 2023, then maybe we start thinking about, let's get this boy up to the majors pretty soon. I'm a season ticket holder. I live 661 miles from Dodger Stadium, but I have my season tickets, and I don't get to every game, but I get down pretty often. So I'll mark it on my calendar to be there for your big league debut for sure. So
awesome. Appreciate that.
And I really appreciate you taking the time to talk with us. This is awesome. And, maybe after I hit recording, then I'll pick your brain a little bit about, what are the recent draft picks you can put me in touch with. So, but
Yeah, definitely.
Thanks for talking. And can you just say no brainer one time? Because that was the only time that I picked up a little bit of a Baltimore accent from you when you said no brainer. So
No brainer.
there we go.
Little bit of it.
Just a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Peter.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I want to thank Peter Heubeck for taking the time to talk with me. A lot of fun talking with him. Really looking forward to see what he can do in the minor leagues and eventually with the Dodgers. A lot of potential there, and it's going to be really exciting. And I hope you enjoyed listening to him. We're hopefully going to have a few other minor leaguers as guests this offseason. And so if you have any recommendations on people you'd like to hear us talk to, let us know, and we'll see what we can do. And, we've got some things in the hopper coming up soon. So thank you for making Locked On Dodgers your first listen every day. Now make your second listen Locked On Bets, your daily one-stop shop for all your gambling needs. Locked On Bets, hosted by your boy Q with expert analysis and insight from Lee Sterling. It's free and available on all platforms. If you haven't yet subscribed to Locked On Dodgers, wherever you get your podcasts or on YouTube, please do so now. Subscribe everywhere you can. It really helps us out, and we really appreciate it. If you have friends and family who love the Dodgers as much as you do, tell them about the show. Maybe they'll love it too. You can follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Locked On Dodgers. Vince is on Twitter at Vince Samperio. I am on Twitter at Snider, and the DMs are open in all of those places. Our email address is lockedondodgers@gmail.com, or our phone number for voicemails or text messages is 323-863-LOCK-5625. We are here every weekday morning, and we hope you'll be here with us. When you get in your car or sit on your couch, tell your smart device to play podcast Locked On Dodgers. And remember, you don't have to agree, you just have to listen. We'll talk to you tomorrow.